Uh, Good afternoon to you all. And I believe this is all corporate crowd, most of it. And one odd from defense. Uh, I hope I do the justice that you are expecting, because we are not talking about ROIs or the, economics and other things. But definitely, we have not been left untouched by this wave. Not that we have been not untouched, we were the pioneers, it was 40 years back when we started our Center for AI and Robotics. And we have done considerable amount of work in this area, deployed certain systems well ahead of times. Probably we were well ahead of times, and yet not very vocal about it, because we thought it's a technology which will stay under wraps for quite some time. But I think 2000s, the advent of a lot of technology, a lot of APIs, a lot of hardware, which solved many of the problems. In fact, the first task when I joined in 92, I did was on the expert systems. And expert systems, the platform was level AI object. So you can imagine in 92, we were working on these kind of systems. And today where we are, I think it's almost, it seems that we are, defense is trailing and the technology is really running forward with all its, engines, rocket engines tied up to it. Anyway, the rate of change of quantity we define as the derivative with respect to time as speed. And the rate of change, we call it accelerating. So today we are speeding as well as accelerating with respect to the AI and its applications to various commercial areas, or in fact defense areas. We will not say we are falling behind, but we are trying to have its rightful place where it is supposed to be. And the pace of change is astounding. As we talk, every day we are getting a new model of ChatGPT. How many of you are really looking at the ChatGPT's models that they are coming every day? I mean, with very periodically we are getting Llama or Mistral and all, which are better and refined models of the ChatGPTs which are being used. But their applicability to your scenario and for you to change over to these kind of new models every day becomes a challenge for the people who are applying it. Nevertheless, I think the techies, whom we call as they are doing they are doing justice to all this. But where does this acceleration takes us? In the heading rush of change and the derivatives, how do we integrate AI into our day-to-day life? Are we integrating it so well? If you ask me, the practical commercial applications of ChatGPT, they are going ahead. Most of them I have heard they are going into the chatbots as the first applications which are going on. And the chatbots in terms of either the text or the speech recognition. And there comes the automatic speech recognition, automatic text recognition, and then automating all the customer experiences that are being automated using this kind of a thing. How many of you are very happy with these chatbots? I mean, I don't know. I have not been very happy with the chatbot, but that's the obvious use case which is coming up, which is going to make the rote and routine jobs becoming more automated with this kind of a development. And where does this takes us? The numerous applications, the roles, and the responsibilities that you take. Where does AI come into the picture? The ad revenue, the automatic thing. These are all commercial scenarios. And when we sitting as part of defense, we look at these things and we say, okay, no, not this. We want to think about image processing. We want to think about sensor data analytics, and not the kind of data analytics. So there's a lot of disjoint between the commercial and the defense use case scenarios. And we are trying to transform ourselves. We are trying to transform ourselves in such a way in the kind of three areas, One is we have to identify our use cases, which are very close to the defense for the benefit of the security of the nation. Number two, the algorithms. The algorithms are also something which is science, technology, and we work a lot on those so that we are at the cutting edge of those kind of the algorithms. And the third is the data. Now, we just heard about Dr. Venkatesh on the data, and amazing clarity of thought that how do we go for the data sanitization. But the kind of data that we talk about is in the form of documents, in the form of the sensor data, in terms of numbers, in terms of integers or floats, or in various types of parameters. It is a mind-boggling job for all of us to think about using that kind of a data. Now, the transformative AI is changing the way we are looking at. Generative AI is changing the way we look at everything. If you see ChatGPT, the last version, 1.75 trillion parameters it is trained on, and how many wattages of power it is taking. Sometimes, do you think, is it the trustworthy partner that is going to go along with me? Is it an ethical friend which is going to give me the right path when I really want the right decision to help me with? So definitely, these are some of the topics, some of the areas that I will touch upon, because we try to use this generative AI, and I found for the scientists, for technologists, or for a development activity that we are doing, it came out as a basic assistant probably, and not as an advanced engineer. There are cases where people are trying to do automatic designs using the generative AI, and there are cases, but they are very, very hardcore research problems which are being, I'm saying these are the research problems which are being talked about, but not really as a real life applications that we are thinking of, like ChatGPT is being used as a real life applications in many of the cases, and many of the low-lying jobs are being done by ChatGPT initially very well, but once you go to the next level, definitely the prompt engineering to get a really reasonable answer, it takes a full day, for which I might have written a code also to get that kind of a outcome, possibly. I mean, I'm not saying that, probably our prompt engineering skills have to be also scaled up. So skill development is, so prompt engineering opens up another skill development area. Probably the data analytics already is a very major skill development area where you require massive amount of engineers to look at the data and bring out the sense out of it. Now, to me, if I understand, with respect to the scientists and engineers, AI won't replace the scientific and engineering acumen, but the potential of supercharge and use the ingenuity, it will fire our imagination. So that's where I place today's generative AI with me. Definitely, the civil engineers can optimize urban landscapes. It can do traffic simulations. It can craft cities. But the sensibility of the constraints of the civil engineering, probably a civil engineer will have to work on it. It will be able to predict and prevent infrastructure failures, but it will not be able to solve the infrastructure failures. It will not be able to attend to the failures that are going to happen. So these are some of the advantages versus disadvantages. The resilient structures, maybe it can do. It can craft a resilient structure with respect to a civil engineer. But how do we validate that this is a resilient structure and will not have a failure? Again, the experience would have to come in for taking that kind of an applications. Similarly, mechanical engineers, they can design robots that define the borders with human dexterity, but the trustworthiness of the robot, the failure-proof operation of the robot will have to be, again, an engineering ingenuity has to be done, because we are looking at, we as scientists and engineers, we have to go one step above what is the commercial application and have to look that where do these AI applications take us to. Aerospace engineers, yes, preventive maintenance, it's a very good tool. Image processing, it's a good tool, but decision making, it can be an aid at the most, because it involves a human life. Till date, we are not able to give any call of decision which requires a human life directly onto the AI. And there's a lot of talk on ethical AI and these kinds of trustworthiness concerns or ethical concerns around the AI. Similarly, material science engineers can configure multiple materials or thousands of materials at one go, but the real properties of the materials, how do you judge the AI generated material is trustworthy, is having the properties that it says to be. A modeling also has to be corroborated with the experimentation. So the modeling, experimentation, and AI have to join hands in a very seamless way. In fact, in our core job of science and technology, when we are trying to predict the future, so AI was one technology, quantum is another technology, terahertz is another technology, 5G, 6G is another technology. Now these are technologies today we know that we are working very intensely on, and they are going to be in next 4 or 5 years the go-to technologies. When I said that we want to actually adopt or predict that what could be the technology which will be the new technology in 2030, we thought let's have an AI engine to predict that. And what would be the data for that? All the research papers, all the brainstorming sessions. And that is the kind of project one looks at or imagines when we have to say that I want to predict the future. And AI, again, is an assistive nature, but the kind of data that you are looking at is massive. And if you see ChatGPT 2021 data, it gives a disclaimer. So how do you really compare your performance, today's performance, with another company in today's parlance? So if you have to retrain that, you can imagine the massive amount of effort it is going to take. So you need to think about the power optimization of these and more easy training of these, or say incremental training of these areas, that how do you see that instead of retraining the entire thing, can I train a better portion of this with the recent data? I mean, these are some of the thoughts and ideas which come up, and I definitely feel these are the kind of even problem statement I see in the DARPA areas where, so, I mean, we are all talking about ChatGPT, it is made in US. China went ahead and Google went ahead and released Bard, and China went ahead and released Ernie. What is the Indian product that is there? So if we say we have to be the leaders in that, somebody has to take into the cognizance of this kind of a research, this kind of a technology, and say, how do I move forward and have these small ideas implemented as a real ideas, and make and say incremental training of an model. Today, it's not possible, the incremental training. So those are some of the research problems we have been defining among ourselves, that how do we leverage the development, but yet we go as a cutting edge, or at the, at least in the way that we are slightly ahead of our times. Robotics is another area, intertwined totally with AI, but a lot of mechatronics, a lot of cyber security comes into the picture. The security of these robots and their actions is a very big concern. In fact, in the defense parlance, if you say robots are considered very easy replacement for saving the lives of human beings, but the trustworthiness of a robotic action and its decision making is something that we are diligently trying to get into and see whether we can explain the actions that are being taken by robotics. Similar is the case with the IoT. The IoT is all prevalent, but the IoT data, now there's again a research problem that comes into the play. IoT has a lot of data, and it is pumping the data to a place where the decision making can be done, or somebody can observe a camera as a simple case. Now, where does that AI comes into the picture? Whether it should be at the edge, or it should be at where the server is running. Now, edge AI is something which will have to come into the play, because you cannot pump, even if the 5G, 6G comes or the high-speed networking comes, you cannot pump in billion of sensors directly onto the central servers. So a lot of research goes on into making the edge AI coming into the play. So these are some of the areas and thought processes and research problems that we seriously want to attack and get going with as partners, as partners whosoever with us, either academia or industry or wherever it is. Now, the cyber physical systems, the cyber security is another area which requires AI, but I'll give a twist to the problem. Cyber security was an afterthought of all the technology we have developed. Am I right? It was always, some tool for saving this threat or this vulnerability and handling this kind of a thing at every layer of the network, every layer of the API. Today, AI, we are at such a state. Can we build a secure AI by design? This is some of the more research problems that we are thinking about. Why not today itself make AI secure by design so that I don't have to think about that it will have a vulnerability, it will have a attack somewhere. We all know adversarial attacks through the data are very much possible, and these are happening today. It's proven, at least in the sense that you have the adversarial attacks on the AI models. Can we build today itself certain standards or certain guidelines that it is a certifiable AI, it's an explainable AI, and it's an AI which does not have inherent insecurities built into the system? So this is how I think we are going a lot into the scientific rather than in a commercial kind of a thinking. But definitely, natural language processing is one area we are looking at very seriously. Image and video processing, generic classifiers, planning, constraint, satisfaction, and optimization problems, the algorithms for them, and strategy formulation and evaluation. In fact, we have gone ahead and made a governance framework within the organization so that, people who are mechanical designers, aerospace designer, at least think about how do we apply AI in various of the use cases in a very safe manner. Again, safety, security at the top of our block where we start from. And what we do is data. I think the more how much ever is said about data is less, and the data kind of a thing, we need to have the building blocks in such a way that it has to be a categorized data, classified data, annotated data, and then use it for the specific use cases. And I think my previous speaker has done justice to the data, but there are more angles with respect to the various use cases that we are looking at, which are non-commercial kind of a thing. It's a good idea to bring out those kind of best practices and share with each other. Now, autonomous systems, I talk about robotics, they require a lot of AI. The kind of future that we are looking at, internal resource reallocations, and the kind of information processing systems which solve the problem, but again correlate with the data, whether our problem solution is going. So there are a parallel kind of systems running AI as well as the data, intensive computing, and see whether they are matching somewhere or the other. We do a lot of modeling simulations and all. So we want to correlate these AI models with the correlations with the AI outcomes and see where our AI algorithms or AI models fit in with respect to our simulations. Now, these are some of the ideas that we keep thinking about for applying in the defense, and many of the things we have already started. Skill development, very important, and skill development in core mathematics of algorithms, along with data analytics and coding and all. I think there is a segment which is being missed, that is the core mathematicians, which require to build these algorithms, understand these algorithms, is one area that I would like to flag in. Data sharing policy of Government of India 2012, DPDP 2024. They are some of the very, very important things which have come up in recent times. These are Government of India initiatives. In fact, a lot is going on the government front. They are trying to have the AI, encourage AI. There are centers of excellence which are working on AI. And in terms of cybersecurity also, AI is being applied very well by the government. Now, in the conclusion, I would say only a few things, that AI is not a replacement of brilliance, but it will be an amplifier. AI will not be a competitor, but it will be a collaborator. Learning its language, tools, potential is mandatory to stay relevant in today's scenario. But verifiable, trustworthy, secure, ethical, they will drive the dynamics of AI adoption. And secure by design is the way to go in the field of AI. I think that's my take, and these are some of the things that we would like to take up as our, you know, in our quest to make Atmanirbhar Bharat. So all these aspects that want to be taken care when we are designing the, designing our vision, designing our actions, and then the execution. Thank you so much, and thank you all the organizers for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts.